Oh yeah, I didn't get to gain like my freshman 15 because I never stayed on campus. I stayed at home my first 2 years of college until I moved and like transferred to Wayne, and that's when I got my own apartment. But even still, I was cooking, so I wasn't eating cat food, so it's never got no weight. And people to this day be like, "You're so skinny." Like I know.
Oh, I used to hate that too.
I used to hate that. They used to be in elementary school. They used to be like, "You're gonna have 50 kids." And
Yep.
All right.
Yep, the wrist thing for sure. Oh, well, since Tyaira has lived both lives.
It's been quite some time since my skinny life.
What life, I don't want to say do you prefer, but what do you feel?
Neither.
Huh?
Neither.
Ooh, elaborate, please.
I mean, kind of like what a lady just said before she left. I don't think I'm fit. Other people think I'm fit. So it's not until I have to go and buy like jeans and stuff, and then I be like, I can't really pull these up the way that I was intending on pulling these up. But I don't necessarily think I'm like, like thick. Like in my mind, I could be thicker, right? Like in my mind, I'm like, I probably should go get a BBL. But when I was tiny, I knew I didn't want to be tiny because I was over the, oh, you so tiny, or, oh, you would look so much better if you had a butt like your mom, or, like I didn't like that feeling either. But now in this skin, I don't like this feeling either, where I'm like, some days I'm like, all right, yeah, I look good. And then other days it's stuff where I'm like, I wish I could try that on, or I wish I could wear that. But am I going to be insecure when I put it on? So I don't like either.
That's interesting. I definitely thought you was gonna choose like one, like, because I know certain girls where they gain weight and they was like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. You should try it. Everybody should try it. And it's just like, then I've had some women like how you said with kids, I would call her like my big sis. She is thinner like me, but she said every time she had kid number 3, shout out to her. But every time she had a kid, she gains weight, but then she loses it back. So she was like, when I had my first kid and I gained weight, it was just weird getting used to like this new body, and like the weight didn't feel right on me. And so she lost it back. It just all really depends on, I guess, the person. And
it does, because my body is the complete opposite. If you see pictures of me pregnant, I'm smaller than what I am right now.
Really?
I actually lose weight when I'm pregnant.
Need the proof.
I will send you a picture. I actually lose a lot of weight when I'm pregnant because my children try to murder me from the inside out. Ooh. So I lose a ton of weight when I'm pregnant because I can't keep anything down. So like when I got pregnant with Jaden, I was already really tiny. And then when I was pregnant, I got even smaller because I couldn't keep anything down. And then it was more like, I don't want to say binge eating, but like when you have a newborn and you got to stay up and you trying to, like you eat in a different manner. So I gain a lot of weight really quick right after a kid. And then it tapers off, and then I'm usually like the weight that I am right now. And then if I get pregnant again, like when I got pregnant with Jordan, like right before I got pregnant, I was a little chunkier, got pregnant, lost a bunch of weight, gained a little bit of it back, and then ended up just being at like my end pregnancy weight, basically. But I still don't prefer either body. If I could take bits and pieces of both bodies, then I would. And then that would be like my ideal body, if I could take bits and pieces.
This is the thing that us smaller girls, and Kyrah, you can tag on if you agree. They always say we can wear anything that we want to wear. And I highly disagree. with that statement because
you can wear anything that you want to wear. I think anything that's out there will fit on you. But I think it's a like confidence thing, like if you can actually wear it. But anything will fit on you. See, me, everything that's made is not gonna fit on me. Even if I had the confidence to pull it off, like you would be like, why the hell was she in that? Like, why did she think that was a good idea? But like pretty much anything that's made can fit on you. It's just like are you confident enough to pull it off? Like, are you gonna feel comfortable in it?
Half and half, because it is some stuff out there and I'll be like, bro, I picked the smallest size possible and this shit still don't fucking fit. Like, what is happening? I know I'm not as small as I think I am, but I'm also not as big as I think I am either. So it's like the metric system that they use for these sizes of clothes, who are you measuring?
And see, that's another thing too, because if you look at other countries, like our clothes aren't like the metric system that we use for clothes are not the same in other countries. Like other countries use a completely different metric system for their measurements for clothes. So if you were like go buy clothes in Europe, like you will probably have like a smaller size than what you do over here. Like our metric system is really off, and I think it's for the purpose just to make everybody insecure as hell.
Or make them feel better too, because let's get into it. Tammy Rivera, I don't know if y'all know who that is, but Walker's wife, she love her. Like she's probably one of my favorite reality stars. And I got to meet her daughter at Linux, but that's a different story. So she is like, I've heard she's really short, but Tammy is thick, and she a natural thick too. Like y'all seen pictures of her when she was younger. What's her face? Charlie looks just like her when she was younger. But she sells like clothes and swimsuits, and she was like showing off one of her pieces, and she was like, I'm wearing a small, and I was like, in whose world? Because Tammy is thick.
That's just like Swank. You know Swank. Like they had those girls on Instagram jumping in them damn jeans, and she'll be like, it's an extra small. It's not like, who's extra small? Did you sew two larges together? Like, how is that an extra small? But then if I take my thick ass in the store to try on an extra small, I then split some pants. Like that's like, or like Delicious. Like you see Delicious is thick.
Baby.
Like thick and thicker in real life than she is on the internet. Like I've seen her in real life.
I've never seen her
a big booty.
I seen her at 12 Oaks some years ago. Delicious is thick. Like Delicious is stacked. And then she'll be on Instagram like, I wear a size 12. Like, I don't think you do. Like, I don't think you actually wear a size 12.
I don't think you do.
Like, not with all that ass, you don't. You can literally stick books on the back of her ass. You don't wear a 12. Like, you just don't.
There's no way. I think that all small girls don't. Yes, the clothes may fit, but doesn't look right.
Right.
There's been a few things that I'd have put on, and I'm like, yeah, this don't look right on me.
I'm not a big fan of like t-shirt dresses, but look at me wearing a dang on t-shirt dress because like I feel like I look like a potato sack. But also it's like if I put an accessory with it, maybe it might turn out a little bit cute. But it does bubble wow.
But see, it goes both ways too, because most thicker girls like feel like they look cool in a t-shirt dress. I got a fupa. I'm not wearing a t-shirt dress. Like I'm just not, because it'll be loose probably up here, and then it's gonna be real tight around my stomach, and then real tight around my ass, and then loose again at the bottom. And then I don't think that's cute. Like, what am I gonna do there? Like, what am I wearing a girdle then at that point? Like, that's the only way that it would look right. So it's just some stuff like when you thicker, it's really hard, especially after kids. And I don't even call it a fupa. It's more like a mom pouch, and it ain't like it's not like it's super big. It's just like the uterus doesn't go back to the normal size after it had a whole human living in there.
Yeah, I had a human in there. That's the proof.
Like, that's the proof. I've had two humans in there, and it doesn't like snap right back to like its normal size. So it's a mom pouch. So it's some stuff that I'm just like, I'm personally not comfortable wearing it. But then I see other girls who are bigger than me and I'm like, damn, she really pulling that off. Like, I should try it. But then when I do it, it doesn't look right on me to me.
Looking around. I wanted to ask y'all, how do y'all, does social media, because for everybody is different, does social media really, really affect your psyche with your body sometimes? Like, do you feel like you can get caught up in like, hey, I really need to do this, or dang, I really need to gain this, or whatever?
I think mine is kind of the opposite. I will see people who like take portraits from like shoulder up, and then when they do take a body picture, I'm like, yes, they not as thin as I thought they was. I'm not as big as I thought I was. Like, and I use it that way. Like, maybe my body isn't as, you know, trash as I'm thinking, because a lot of people that are bigger than me. Or I'll see like when I post, like when I look in the mirror versus looking at a picture, I think those are like two different images almost. Like, so sometimes I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, this looks terrible. I look bad. But then when I see it on a picture, I'm like, oh, that didn't look as bad as I thought it did. So yeah, I think, and then it's other times where I see people where I'm like, I really want to look like that, or, you know, like I want to look like that. Like, it's a girl, what is her name? I think Kaylin Nicole. She dates Travis Kelce from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But she has like a really, really nice body, but she tiny, but she thick too. I'm never going to be that size. So really, it irritates me like aspiring to be her, because I'm just never going to be that size. Like, I'm never going to look like that. So just remembering for my own purposes to have like a more realistic idea of what I want my body to look like if I want to make any changes is kind of why I try to steer away from social media, because social media will have you feeling like you can look like these, like you can go from like 220 pounds to like 106 pounds, help like in a healthy way. Like, that's probably not going to happen.
That's true.
Because you have to, it's all different you know, it's a lot of factors that play into losing weight and things like that. Like, where weight is going to fall. When you build muscle, how are you going to build muscle? Like, you may build muscle and end up being really like really, you know, muscular. Now you mad that you muscular.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is very true. For me personally, when I see other small girls, I'd be like, bruh, even being small wearing a bikini sometimes, like even just these bikini pictures that I took, I'm like, bro, I'm showing too much. I'm showing way too much. But then it's like, what is too much? Because too much to somebody else is not my same too much. But also it's like, you can't compare, because comparison is the freaking thief of joy. So I'll be trying to tell myself, don't compare. Because if you compare, you're going to be sad. If you compare yourself to the next skinny girl, if you compare yourself to the next thick girl, if you compare yourself to the next whomever, you're going to tear yourself down and just realize that everybody is different. So why try to create the stigma of who you want to be if you can never be that?
Yeah, for sure.
Do that.
I guess I'll answer my own question. I used to be, when I was like a gym rat, because I was, and it's funny that Tyaira says that, like, okay, when you gain muscle, how you gonna look? Because every girl gains muscle differently. Like, some women can gain muscle and they look feminine. In my opinion, when I gained muscle, I was like, I don't like that. I don't like this. And even like y'all said, when y'all gain weight, like I can tell pictures from about 5-6 years ago, my face was bigger. And I was like, I don't know if I like my face this size, but I wanted the weight to go everywhere else. And it's like, no, I was gaining weight, muscle everywhere. And it was just like, no, like if anything, my arms, if I focus on my arms too much, they gain muscle so fast, but the rest of my body just be taking forever. And I'll be like, okay. So I think that's why everybody tell me, well, like, go to the gym if you want to gain weight. And I'm like, I've tried that and I don't like it personally on me.
It don't work. I don't like going to the gym either.
So some women they can gain muscle and they look completely fine. So for me, when I was obsessed in the gym rat, I would follow a lot of these like Instagram gym rat girls that I'd be like, oh, I would look like this, I don't look like that. And it got to the point where like I was obsessed. So I had to like unfollow people. Like I'm that extremist. I'm that person because I did deal with like a mental disorder for so long. I have to take the extremes. Like I can't follow certain people. I don't have a scale in my house. Like I don't want to go back to those dark ages no more. So for me, I feel like when I feel myself getting too consumed with that, and like Kyrah said, like even just comparing ourselves to somebody that is a little bit closer in our size can be irritating because it's like, well, dang, how she get? Well, I want hips. Dang, she's skinny with hips. Oh, if I just had hips, I'll be all right. That's all I need
every day.
Or what used to really make me mad was like the girls that be real close to my size, and then over time they'll post a picture and be like, where did this weight come from? What's the secret? What did
Bro, I swear to goodness. It was me and this other skinny girl in high school, right? And we just kept saying, we gonna see who gonna get the thickest first. We gonna see who gonna get the thickest first. I grew up, sis is thick, okay? And I'm like, you won. You won. You can have it. You can have it.
It's always like, or not even living up to everybody's standards in my head. And I don't know why I was so concerned, but it's like I said earlier, okay, when you get to college, it's gonna happen. Okay, well, in the middle of college, it's gonna happen. Okay, well, by the time you get to this age, 25 was like the golden age for me. I'm 26 now. I'm gonna be 27 next year. When is it gonna happen? It's just like, oh, well, you still this, or people, you still the same size. It's like, okay, yeah, didn't happen for me. It happened for old girl. But old girl also, she got different genetics. Old girl might have had a kid. Like people had kids.
I think that's another thing. Like people gotta remember, genetics play a factor. Your mom is tiny. Like chances are you're not getting no bigger than what you are now. If you are, then we need to figure out who your real mommy is. Because, like your mom is tiny, but my mom on the other hand is thicker. So, and my grandma is thick. So it's only like, it was pretty much inevitable at some point that I would be thicker. But like you gotta remember like all of those things. Genetics play a factor. Height plays a factor. Everybody is different height. Like how weight sits on you. Like how we were talking about Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion is tall, like really, really tall. So Megan Thee Stallion might weigh the same as like a shorter, thicker girl, but it looks better on her because she's taller. That weight can spread out for her. Like your height plays a factor. Your metabolism plays a factor. Like just how weight sits on your body plays a factor. Like all those things play a factor. That's something that I had to learn. Like when I would see like the plus size models and I would be like, okay, like she just said she wears size 14 in jeans. I wear size 14 in jeans. Why don't I look like her? Like she's also like 2 inches shorter than me. And like, so like it's gonna look different on her. Like everything is gonna be different based on everybody's body type. Like somebody wearing a size 12 jeans, they may weigh more than me. Like I never look at the number on the scale, like weight wise, because the scale will have you like in your head for no reason.
In your head, for sure. It really will have you in your head, and just
like even with me going to the gym, like I started going to the gym 3 times a week. The numbers on the scale weren't changing. But my clothes were. Like I needed to go get new clothes. All my clothes were baggier. You know, like that's letting me know I'm making progress, but the scale is saying that I'm not.
That's true. That's so true. Last but not least, our last question. So much good dialogue. I am so glad. Wow. I'm so happy that, because I know Tyaira is more so of an introvert, so.
I am. I only did this for you. If it was somebody else, I'd have been like, no.
I did it.
That's why I was like, I always ask people, anybody, I don't care what personality type that they have. I'm like, are you comfortable being on the show? So I was actually surprised when she said yes. I was like, oh, this gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time.
I do not talk to people.
What's your image? Okay, so do y'all think this BBL body is gonna last for a long amount of time? Because I feel like I don't see it phasing out.
I don't either, because I'm about to go get one, so I'm hoping that. I'm hoping it does before I waste my money.
Bro, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna leave, but if it does, it's definitely gonna be another battle between like a BBL body and a skinny body for sure. I think those will be the two like in the running.
I just don't see. I don't see it going nowhere. Simply because like Tyaira said, Kim Kardashian and they're white.
Yeah.
Once white people get a hold of something, that's the form of mainstream. I don't see them. I've heard other white girls talk to other white girls about being thick, and I'm like,
listen, and that's a whole nother topic. Let's not even go off on that about how now black guys literally will bash black women, saying they have no reason to date black women now because now white girls are thick. Like, what are we dating y'all for? Because white girls are thick now. That's a whole different topic.
That's a whole different topic for another day.
For a whole other podcast. If you want to explore that topic, please invite me. But that's a whole other topic. But just like in saying that, I don't think it's something that's gonna phase out because of that. Because it's so hyped up, like just that body type, like, and that body, like that historically black body now being on other races, I don't think it's something that's gonna phase out because it's so mainstream now. And it's being like force fed to everybody. Kids are seeing it. It's in the music videos. It's in the lyrics. It's in video games. Like it's being force fed. So our generation of men, they look for thicker women. Like older generation of men now, they look for thicker women. Like younger boys who are coming up, they look for thicker women. Like I don't see it phasing out. And I don't see like naturally skinny coming back. And I also don't see naturally thick coming back either. I think like that BBL, like Coke bottle shape. Yeah, like I can see that just being the shape. Like that's what you gotta be to where nobody is like critiquing you to make some changes, right? Like if you smaller, guys are like, hey, you need to get a butt. Or if you are naturally thick, they like, hey, you need to tighten up here and there. Like, I don't see that stuff going away because everybody is looking for that Dr. Miami body.
That doctor, and it's funny that you said it's being force fed because yes, video games, these LOL dolls. My little cousin got a couple of years ago, got some LOL dolls, and I looked at these dolls. I said, what? Wait a minute, why all these dolls look like Nicki Minaj? Like, what is happening right now? Like, even just from the body, like, waist was this big, hips was this wide. I'm like, so y'all really are brainwashing these girls this young to look like this. On top of the attire, it was a little risque to be like a little girl doll. Like, I grew up with Bratz and Maxine dolls. They looked, they was cute. They had long legs. They had bodies, but they didn't look like that. And I was like, yeah, I feel sorry for like you being a parent now and having to deal with all the things that come with. Shout out to you, Tyaira, because I'll be like,
I was gonna say, parenting is a whole nother thing, just because I feel like I wasn't even a sheltered kid. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't a sheltered kid. My mom wasn't that type of mom. My mom always kind of talked to me like not an adult all the time, but I wasn't treated like a kid per se. Like, I knew things, so I wasn't like sheltered. But kids now, like the stuff that is on TV,
there's no filter for these
it's
kids.
Literally no filter. The only way you can keep your kid from this stuff is if you put them in a box, like no lights and it's like just nothing. Because it's everything. It's like they're being force fed the thicker bodies. They're being force fed to choose their sexuality very early. Like, choose what their sexual preferences are very early. Like, where when we were younger, that really wasn't necessarily a question so early. It was just like you figured it out once you got older, but it wasn't something that you were forced to like understand or comprehend at such a young age. There's a lot of stuff that's different.
It's definitely weird talking about that when we were like towards the end of middle school. That's when we started kind of like, if you were talking about that at the end of middle school, that was like, whoa, like,
oh my God, how do you know?
Yeah, like, how do you know? But now kids is kids.
Kids are in like second grade and they like, look, this is, I like what I like second grade. And I'm like,
you can barely talk. How you know?
Right. Okay, but that's weird. Like, yeah, it's very hard to be a parent and to say in like today's society, but I definitely feel like that whole body type is, luckily I don't have girls because I would feel really bad if I was raising a girl, just trying to make sure that her self-esteem isn't affected. Because I had a conversation with someone the other day and we were kind of talking about how when you are a child, your perception of self is not affected until somebody else tells you what they think about you, right? So when you are first born, you just think you're fine until somebody tells you you're attractive or you're unattractive. And if somebody puts in you very early that you're attractive, you go through life and you think you're attractive. Until somebody tells you that you're not, now your self-esteem is gone. And, you know, vice versa. So I would feel really bad, you know, trying to raise a girl in today's society because of how it's so hard to be comfortable in your body, like without having that Dr. Miami body.
It's really interesting because I talked to a guy about like body image and how men think about it, and he said that, you know, boys don't really think about it like that because they kind of, that's not what society has deemed important for them. It's important for us. And I feel like a lot of things are predicated on the way that we look. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I think women are more harsh on other women. Like, I don't blame the guys for us feeling how we feel about our bodies, because at the end of the day, like, guys have always just been like, they don't care. You know, like, they don't care. Like, if you gonna give them a chance, you cute in the face, like, they don't care. Like, so I don't blame guys. I do blame women trying to get the attention of guys for why we are the way that we are. Because 90% of the stuff that women do to their bodies is for the attention of guys. These women ain't going to spend 10 grand on getting their bodies done for us to be like, oh, her body looks nice. Like, that's not why she's spending that money. She's spending that money because she thinks that if her body looks that way, she's going to attract a certain type of guy. So I blame that. I really, you know, like how circling back to like mainstream media, I blame mainstream media for making us think that if you have this certain type of body, you're more deserving of a certain type of guy who is going to come with money and come with himself together and things like that. So then you feel like you need to alter your body because whatever reason, maybe you feel like you're attracting crappy men and you like, well, if I get this body done, then I'll attract what society tells me like those men are looking, you know, like what they're looking for.
Well, that's all I got for the kids. This is really good. I can't wait till this comes out. Y'all got any other last words? Anything else?
Stop body shaming women.
Stop body shaming.
They're all beautiful. Love
men, stop telling women what they should do to their bodies.
Stop pointing out people's flaws, because people know they got their flaws. Leave them alone.
Because if I point out your patchy beard, you gonna have a problem. If I point out the fact that you can't grow a beard, you gonna have a problem.
Or chest hair, now what?
We can go there if you want to. So, and men need to stop acting like they'll be insecure about stuff that they do. So, before you form words in your mouth to say to me about my body, you need to think about that. Yep. Think about that. Yeah, let's stop body shaming. All bodies are definitely beautiful, and I don't want to say that to sound cliche, but I'm saying that from a point of experience. Like, it's already enough on us. So That's all I got for y'all. I will see y'all on the next episode of In Real Life. Peace.
Bye.